Sit back and throw one back with your pinky in the air and a middle finger to the world, and join me, the eclectic gentleman Stephen Watts, as we look back on this day in pro wrestling history. But before we do, put that drink down, like, share, and subscribe, and without further ado, let's get our wrestling history on. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it is May 16th, and we're going to start off as we always do on a positive note. That's right, these are your pro wrestling birthdays. 1938, one hell of a wrestler but an even better trainer, Johnny Rodz. 1961, Charles Godfather Wright. 1973, Japanese wrestler Gama. 1975, Das Wunderkind, Alex Wright. 1984, veteran women's wrestler Mickey Knuckles. 1985, one of the most underutilized talents of the past 5 years, Mike Kanellis. And last but not least, 1993, David Finlay. Of course, on the flip side of that coin, your pro wrestling deaths for May 16th. 2002, Phil Big Dick Dudley Rizzo. 2017, AWA and WWF enhancement talent, Doug Summers. 2019, Ashley Massaro. Alright, enough of the sad stuff. It's time to get to the meat and potatoes. That's right, these are your pro wrestling history highlights for May 16th. Jumping in the Wayback Machine and going to 1952, where we see Roger McKay defeat the Mass Marvel, Buddy Knox, for the Pacific Coast Junior Heavyweight title. Making 2 stops in 1963. First, Brute Bernard and Skull Murphy defeat Buddy Austin and the Great Scott in Washington, D.C. for the Worldwide Wrestling Federation United States Tag Team titles. Our second stop in 63 sees Bull Curry defeat Jack Dalton in Houston, Texas for the NWA Texas Brass Knuckles title. Moving just 1 year to 1964, Vern Gagne wins his 7th AWA World Heavyweight title in Omaha, Nebraska by defeating Mad Dog Vachon. Fast forwarding 3 years to 1967, Boris Malenko defeats Wahoo McDaniel for the NWA Florida Heavyweight title in Tampa, Florida. We got a busy day in 1969 with 4 separate stops. First, Antonio Inoki defeats Chris Markoff to win the 11th annual JWA World League Tournament. Second stop in 69, Archie Gold defeats Angelo Mosca for the Stampede North American Heavyweight title in Alberta, Canada, to begin his 4th reign. This was a rematch from May 2nd in Calgary. Our third stop sees the professional Doug Gilbert defeat El Mongol to win the vacant NWA Georgia Heavyweight title in Atlanta, Georgia. And last but not least, the Claw defeats Moondog Mayne for the NWA Pacific Northwest Heavyweight title. Moving from that busy day in 69 to 1972, Paul Jones defeats Jack Briscoe to win the NWA Florida Heavyweight title in Tampa, Florida. Skipping ahead 3 years and going to 1975, Antonio Inoki defeats Killer Carl Krupp by submission to win the annual New Japan Pro Wrestling World League Tournament. Staying in Japan but going 2 years ahead to 1977, Giant Baba defeats Jumbo Tsuruta to win the annual All Japan Pro Wrestling's Champions Carnival Tournament. Leaving the 70s and going to the 80s, 1981, Eddie Gilbert and Ricky Morton defeat the Akbar Army, Jerry Brown and Ron McFarlane for the NWA Tri-State Tag Team titles. We have a busy day in Memphis, Tennessee in 1983. First, Bobby Eaton and Doug Myers defeat the Fabulous Ones, Steve Kern and Stan Lane, for the AWA Southern Tag Team titles, ending the Fabulous Ones' 5th reign and beginning Eaton's and Myers' 2nd. At the same event, Ken Patera won the CWA AWA International Heavyweight title from Jerry Lawler, and Bill Dundee wins his 7th AWA Southern Heavyweight title, ending Dutch Mantel's 4th reign. Fast forwarding 4 years to 1987, the Midnight Express, Bobby Eaton and Stan Lane defeat Ronnie Garvin and Barry Windham in the finals of a 6-team tournament for the NWA United States Tag Team titles in Atlanta, Georgia. Just hours later, the Midnight Express make their first title defense of those U.S. titles by defeating Bob Armstrong and Ron Garvin at Jim Crockett's promotion event in Chesterfield, South Carolina. Leaving the 80s and going to the decade of grunge, 1991, Villano 3 defeats El Signo for the UWA World Light Heavyweight title in Mexico City, Mexico. At the same event, Los Cowboys Silver King and El Tejano won a tournament to become the first UWA World Tag Team Champions. And last but not least, 1999, the WWF held its first No Mercy pay-per-view, exclusive to the United Kingdom, at the Manchester Evening News Arena in Manchester, England, in front of 18,407 fans. In the main event of the evening, Stone Cold Steve Austin defeats Triple H and The Undertaker in a triple threat. Those were your pro wrestling history highlights for May 16th. I'm the Eclectic Gentleman, Stephen Watts, and we'll see you tomorrow.